So it ticks a box in the SUV department, but what about performance? What? So I can see a 0 to 30 of 2.59 and a 0 to 60 of 4.97. That's insanity. Let me get this right. There's a Macan T, a Macan S, and then you have the Macan GTS, a £71,000 performance SUV from Porsche. And some say it's the best performance SUV ever. So this 2.9 litre V6 twin turbo puts out 440 horsepower and 550 newton meters of torque. That's enough poke for most cars, but when you think about it, it weighs 2 ton, give or take. Is that enough for a heavy old boy like this? 100% yes. And it's got one of my favorite optional extras. With the sports package, you've got the little chrono switch. So right now, a little flick of the wrist and we're in Sports Plus, and it just gives you a few burbles out the back, everything tightens up, and at times you kind of forget that you're driving an SUV. And when I flick my drive mode switch just down here into Sports Plus, the PDK gearbox is super sharp as per usual, nothing less. And even when you brake and you go down the gears, it gives it to you, 6,000 RPM. Just holding it there, still holding it there. And when it finally begins to open up, it wants to sing all the way to 7,000 RPM. And again, it's not giving me any worry that it's a 2-ton SUV. Now, in case for any reason you bought this car for MPG, I will say it estimates around 24 to 25 miles per gallon when you're being smart. But from what I know about Porsche's car is that they tend to underquote their MPG, because in the 911 that I got recently, that was estimated to be around 28, and I saw 34 on a long road trip, but nobody cares. This is why you bought a Porsche, for it to sing every day of the week. So say what you want about the colour on the exterior, but what you can't deny is in the interior, the GT Sport steering wheel, the size, the grip, it gives you that, this is an East London word for you, it gives you that purchase. It gives you great purchase, and you can't deny it. And I'm probably gonna have to put this in a tab here. I love the feel of it in my hands. Wow. So now this is a new car, so we're not gonna have the old sounds of 1980 or the 1990s from any car. But what I will say is that there is of course some sound pumped into the speakers, but it's not that noticeable, especially when you have the window down a crack. You can definitely hear there's something going on the outside. And more so, when you do decide to flick your little switch down here and go back into normal and crank the music up, which I can't unfortunately do, the optional Bose system is something else. Guys, you know what? Come to me, meet me, put on a tune, and I'm telling you, it's a raving here. We're giving it the whole Night Fever night vibes, but I don't really care. I don't really care about that. I do, but I don't, if that makes sense. It's all about the performance, and again, this is an SUV, loads of space in the back for the family, loads of space in the boot for that weekend trip away. And on a Sunday morning, bright and early, you can still go for a tear up. Now, something that you'll notice is that the Macan is currently set on 21-inch alloys, and on an SUV, that could possibly be the sweet spot. You don't want anything too big because it's just going to make the ride quite harsh, and you don't want anything too small because then it's just going to show off the arch gap. But where this does have the adjustable height, it sits really well. And when you are cruising around in normal and everything softens up, the ride's relatively quite small. Again, we're not on the best roads here, but take my word for it, it's definitely smooth enough. So while we're still touching on comfort, these seats, the GT Sport seats with their adjustable headrests, are so comfy. Comfy to a point where you probably wouldn't want to be the driver. Sometimes, obviously, probably in traffic or in slow moving traffic. But when the road does open up, again, I just keep flicking this switch down here, they really do hug you. And where they are 8-way adjustable, you just get plenty and an abundance actually of support, which at times, other than the high seating position, because you are driving an SUV, you kind of forget that you are driving an SUV. And that's something I don't mind at all. So I can definitely see why this could be classed as the best performance SUV. It's got the right amount of power and the right amount of space. But does it feel heavy? Does it feel sluggish? Does it feel boaty? None of those things. It still has all of the Porsche characteristics that you'd want, with it feeling quite driver focused. I know it's not a manual, which to some people is the to die for option on a car, but a setup like this, it feels, dare I say, let's be honest here, and let's be safe here so I don't get shot down by the keyboard warriors. This is a 9.5 out of 10. Because if there was an option that you might want to change, it might be the colour.